I won't complain. Reverend Offer, I keep telling y'all I'm not a shouting, running kind of person. You getting ready to make me get up out this chair and hit it 5 blocks around the corner. Praise God. I won't complain. I know we have been through a challenging year, one that we have not seen. We've had to navigate through uncharted waters. But if you're here and you can look back, it means you done made it through some stuff. I'm not saying you can't share some of the stuff that you've been through, but don't get caught up in the complaining. Don't get caught up in the stuff. Don't get caught up so far that you can't see what God has brought you through. I won't complain. I won't complain. Ooh, that is all over my spirit. Let me pull myself together because I got to get this message going for you. Thank you, Unity, for giving me an opportunity to speak to you today. We're talking in the middle, or we're in the second week of Women's Her Story Month. Her story, her story. We're grateful that we are now in a time where our stories are beginning to unfold, and they are powerful stories, things that women have done and accomplished. Some have been noted in documentation, some have yet to be documented, but God has the book. So God knows what women have done. Faces of hope are faces of change. That's what we're going to talk about today. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1, in the New International Version, I'm going to just kind of give you a snapshot. It talks about faith and hope being the assured expectation of things hoped for, although the evidence is not seen. Simply meaning that there's a feeling of expectation and a desire for certain things to happen, even though they've not manifested themselves yet. In faces of hope and as faces of change, it's our role to leave this world better than it was before we came in. Now, you might say, Rev, how can I affect change? Well, you can do this by speaking up. It is not just enough to stand up. You must be the first in line. You must think like the dominoes. The dominoes are in a line, right? But when the first domino falls, it creates momentum. It creates enough momentum to move the other dominoes, and which forever shifts the dynamics of the initial structure. I don't care if you set those dominoes back up again, they'll never be in the same position that they were before. You have changed the structure of that entire row. Your falling or stepping forward is the first to create a shift in a world that is critical. Most often, when you create this shift or change, hear me, folks, you may have to do it alone. You may not have a band of people. You may not have folks that see what God has given to you to see. You may have to stand alone. I remember Archbishop telling us when we were deacon candidates decades ago, right? And he said, sometimes when you stand in the truth, you have people that I'm 100% with you until you start taking those steps, and then they're 100 feet behind you. But it shouldn't stop you if you walk in faith, if you trust, if you know that God has called you to be a face of change. Standing up and being the first to fall is quite the opposite of the trajectory of our culture today. Why? Because many base their belief on words that have been sold to them. Words like the ones that are found in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 11 through 15. In that scripture, it says that a woman should learn in quietness and full submission. And it says, I do not permit the woman to teach or to assume authority over men or anyone. She must be quiet. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. And then Adam is the one that was not deceived, even though he got the law first, but he wasn't deceived. It was the woman who deceived and became the sinner. But the woman will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith, love, holiness, and propriety. That's been sold to us. That's a whole nother sermon I'll do one day to talk about who really was deceived, right? But today we're talking about faces of change. We're talking about faces of hope. In the previous reading, that piece that I just read, that's what you call comfort. Comfort is overrated. Being quiet is comfortable. Keeping things the way that they've been or the way that they were is a comfort zone for many. All comfort is doing is just simply maintaining the status quo. So you being the faces of hope, being the faces of change, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable by speaking up and falling on to create that momentum and speaking the hard truth. Speaking up against institutionalized ideology that restricts our abilities, growth, prosperity, and life. We need to speak up against injustice because justice is not an option. It is our birthright. I'm going to let that one marinate because I might have went there again. Justice is not an option. It is not for the select few. It is our birthright. And sometimes justice does not come through silence. Being that lead domino, that face of change, or better put, that hope, that face of hope, it means speaking on things that are difficult to speak about. It means standing for what others prefer you sit and sleep on. It means immersing yourself in areas that are not comfortable. I have always said that ministry, that your callings are not a space of comfort. It means you have to peel layers of comfort and become vulnerable before others and for others. A face of hope is a person who desires to say what others are thinking. Sometimes when you speak up, people, I was thinking that, but And when you speak up, people may say, you're fearless. They believe that you're not afraid of the consequences. A face of hope knows that you must identify and speak up against what is not being said. You must speak out against the things that confines others, the things that oppress others, and speak real hope into power. Hear that. It needs your momentum, your energy. It needs you to bring that into existence and create that power. Too often, it takes us too long to take ownership of that thing that we need to call into existence. Why? Why, Rev? Fear. There's only two emotions. There's love and there's fear. And under that comes layers of stuff. But we give fear the power to keep us from saying that our purpose. Times so afraid of the experiences, they become petrified in their purpose. Faces of hope in the face of change, they must call out fear for what it is. You must take that head on. How? Whatever scares you, call it out. Become the lead domino and fall on it. Push others. Push the thing. Push who's ever in line. If you move, they'll move. They're going to either move with you or they're going to bat it away. One of the two is going to happen. And sometimes people, you might just have to fall on them. And when you do that, though, when you move, test your power. Listen, you say you trust God and that you walk with God and that you're a face of hope and that you're a face of change. I have no reasons to question that. However, if you're not testing your power in God, if you're not giving God an opportunity to work through you, if you're allowing fear to block you from tapping into that unlimited power, then you have to question what your face look like. And if you're not looking in the mirror to see what your face look like, then I can't say what's going on for you. Listen, faces of hope, faces of change, I'm talking to you. It is your job to disrupt the error and the dysfunctional flow of any situation that dispowers your well-being and that of others. Did you hear me? It's your job to disrupt. It ain't your job to sit there and just take it. It ain't your job to just sit there and just be quiet. When the spirit surges in you for you to move, you got to become like that first domino and create that falling effect so that other things change the structure that's around you. You want change in your life? Change the structure in your life. Get up and move. Don't just stand up, move. Otherwise, what you did or what you said yes for, you got to ask, what does that yes really mean? Not just in ministry, your yes just for getting up in the morning. If you still vertical, you still here, you still present, what did your yes mean today when you got up this morning? I'm not just talking to the clergy, I'm speaking to anybody who has chosen to live a progressive life. Don't wait on the pastors. Don't wait on your leaders. God put that thing in you to do. You are the face of change. You are the face of hope. Faces of hope and change know that if we band together, we create a force that becomes unbreakable. It will diminish barriers that will disband ideologies and superiorities or the ideal of superiority. It will eliminate divisions. It will remove disparities among identified populations of people. Others know this already. Why do you think they fight so hard for us not to band together? Why do you think they keep us divided? Why do you think that they keep us from being us? Faces of change and faces of hope simply know there are some who count on our silence. Ah, did, did, did I say so that they can keep us where they are? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say they? If you're choosing to be silent, let me put it out there. You're helping them. You're helping them. Yeah, I said it. You're helping them. Because faces of hope and faces of change is cognizant that silence serves no one. It's a self-serving thing. If God put it in you to speak up, then speak up. Those who are faces of hope knows that silence is not an option. Faces of hope, faces of change know that being yourself is a revolutionary act. In a world that wants these faces to whisper, faces of hope and change must yell. Can't be silent. You got to disrupt things if you want things to change. And when they do this, when they get ready to yell, they have a check and balance system. I'm going to help you. They have a check and balance system. They ask 3 questions. The first question, did you mean it? What you're about to say or what you said, did you mean it? Can you defend it? Is the second question you'll ask yourself. If I say this, can I defend it? Do I mean it? Can I defend it? The third thing is, what I'm about to say or what I said, did I say it in love? If you say it in love, then it ain't about you. If you say it in love, it means you genuinely are concerned about others who may be impacted by what you say, and that you're willing to take the consequences of that. Because whatever it is, if you've been saying no weapon formed against you shall prosper, then walk that walk, talk that talk. Don't just be one that's going around and just creating chatter in a world that's already chaotic and filled with chatter. Ask yourself the question today, are you the face of hope? Ask yourself, am I the face of change? Am I the first domino in line with the active intention to fall, to create momentum, to disrupt the flow of injustice, to bring about change? Don't just be another face in a collage of foolishness. Don't get caught up because it's comfortable. I'm an introvert, so I know how comfortable I can get. I was talking yesterday to some of my colleagues and sisters and brother friends yesterday, and I told them, I said, I'm gonna get a turtle tattoo on me because that's how I operate as an introvert in an extrovert environment, right? I have a tendency that when I have an assignment or project, I come out. You would never think that I'm an introvert. And then when I'm done, I kind of go away. Most people don't know that I'm shy. And I have to push hard to socialize and be active. I'm not scared to talk about it. I'm proud to talk about it now because it gives me a chance to understand me. And I shared with them a book that I'm reading, Susan Cain, Quiet, which is helping me to understand me and to help others as I manage others. because I want to be a real face of hope, a real face of change. I want to be one that's truly making a difference. I want to be one that's creating a revolutionary act, not for popularity, but to make the change for others who can't speak up yet, who won't speak up yet. If I've said yes to the morning, I need to get up and change something, even if it's just within myself. Are you a face of hope? Are you a face of change? That's a rhetorical question. It's only one that you can truthfully answer. But remember, when you started, there is no turning back. Before our pastor comes on and closes out our service, we're going to share a brief video which displays not all, we were not able to capture everyone in this, but some examples of faces of hope and change within our own movement. I want you to not only look at the faces, I want you to look at some of these titles behind these. These are women who are silent. These are women who've been working quietly for years. These are women who have just been doing the thing. And again, my disclaimer, I couldn't capture everybody, but I just wanted to give you a snapshot view of some women who are saying not only yes, but they're that domino who are changing in momentum. Take a look at what we put together.